Hi everyone, this is Lisa Palladino for Tongue Tie Experts. Bear with me, I'm trying to do a trick here and get Facebook and Instagram going at the same time. Just give me a minute. I'm on Facebook and I believe I'm on Instagram now. Hi everyone on Instagram. It's Lisa Palladino. Let me take my glasses for a bit. I won't need them so much, just for making the connections and seeing your questions. It's great to see everyone today. Thanks for joining me. I'm coming to you live on a really hot and steamy day in New York, in Staten Island, New York to be exact. And I'd love it if, on Facebook and on Instagram, if you want to just let us know where you're from and say hello, let me know you're here. So I get to feel like I'm not alone. So what today is about, I'm very excited because, for those of you who don't know who I am, I'll explain a little bit about who I am and what I do. I am a certified nurse midwife and a lactation consultant, and I've been taking care of women in one form or another since 1987. So I have over 30 years of experience taking care of moms and babies. And in the last 5 years, I've started my own private practice, and I'm going to deep dive into learning about functional and integrative medicine. About 10 years ago, almost 10 years now, I became a lactation consultant, and what's been happening with my practice and my life and my mission is that it's sort of divided. I have my breastfeeding work and my women's healthcare work, and today is I'm going to talk to you about a culmination of that, bringing them together. So I've figured out a way to bring the health and wellness aspects that I help women with into the breastfeeding world. So lactation nutrition is something that we don't really address too much. We don't get too much help with it as new moms. I remember when I was having my babies way back when, I was given some pretty silly advice, which now I think almost anybody would laugh at, think is a little ridiculous. The one thing that stands out in my mind is that my doctor told me I should drink a quart of milk a day. So if anybody ever met me, I'm 4'11". A quart of milk a day would not have really done so well for me. I probably would have gained about 80 pounds during that pregnancy, but thankfully I didn't feel like that advice was right, and that was a very long time ago. Okay, so what I would like to do is let you know the objectives for today, or what I'm going to be talking about. So there's lots of stuff about nutrition, and we've had a lot of questions over the week, since I announced this. I've had a lot of questions sent in and a lot of discussion on Facebook, and it's wonderful. But I'm just going to give you 4 simple guidelines, and I'm going to try and give you enough hints so that you can take away something really great from this, and something actionable, something you can do starting today to change a little bit about how you're eating and what you've known in the past about being true for what you need to eat for breastfeeding. Okay, so we're going to do that. But the other thing that I want to say is, if you've stumbled across this and you're not breastfeeding, the guidelines that I'm going to discuss today is not just for breastfeeding. We will take a little bit of a deeper dive into the specific needs for a lactating mom. But these are general guidelines that work for everyone, and honestly, this is how I eat. I'm not preaching anything that I don't practice, and this is the way that I've learned that I feel my best, and my family as well. So this isn't just for breastfeeding. Then I want to tell you a little bit at the outset, and I'll talk more about it after I talk about the 4 guidelines. I will be taking a deeper dive to nutrition, more personal approach. I'm holding a lactation nutrition reset, which will be a 5-day guided elimination diet. So we'll talk more about that, and stay tuned about that, because I have some exciting bonuses to tell you, and we have an early bird special, and we'll be posting about that in the feed. So if you're interested in that, stay tuned, okay? But let's go through the material first, okay? So first of all, I want to let you know that the first guideline for healthy eating, whether it be for nursing or just, general wellness, is that the goal for your food, your nutrition, should be health, not weight loss. So this sort of turns things around, because I know I used to think this way. Well, I'll be healthy after I lose the weight. Or you hear people say, if only I'd lose the weight and I'd feel better, and then I will get healthy and start exercising or whatever, feel more energy and such. So it's actually the opposite of that. So it's more about, if you eat healthy, your body will attain the weight that it's supposed to be and the weight that's best for you. So it sort of turns that concept upside down. So especially with breastfeeding, and if you're pregnant, same, no calorie restrictions. So I'm not talking about, counting calories, eating just plain lettuce salads, and chomping on celery all day. We're talking about healthy foods, real foods, nourishing foods. So you want to think about food as information for your body. So you want to put in the best information so that your body can take that information and blossom, and be its best body, be its best at its best function. So think about food as information, and you want to eat foods that help you feel nourished and satisfied. For example, if you ate a cookie, we might feel a little bit of satisfaction for a little bit, but in a little while you either feel hungry again, or you don't feel good, or you need another cookie. So cookie is not the best nutritious food for you. So that's what I'm talking about, is food as information, right? Okay. So the second concept is, I don't know if any of you have ever heard of the author Michael Pollan. So Michael Pollan has this saying that I love: eat real food, mostly plants, not too much. So what does that mean? Real food, meaning plant-based foods, carry the most information. And by saying this, I don't mean that we should all be vegetarians. I believe that we need some animal protein, or work really hard around that, especially if you're breastfeeding, if you're a vegetarian or a vegan. But plants should be the mainstay of our diets. And many of us don't think about, well, what comes from plants other than, some vegetables, like broccoli is a plant. But, there's lots of things that come from plants. Lots of vegetables are all vegetables are plants, but also you want to think of things like nuts and seeds and beans and legumes. They're all plant, right? And each of those types of food brings different information to our body. So we should not limit these, especially when breastfeeding. What's great about eating mostly vegetables and different kinds of vegetables and different forms of vegetables is because that gives us fiber, and fiber is so important. It helps us feel full, and it helps regulate our digestive system. Okay, so that's important. Hold on one second. I just want to check something. I just want to see. So if there's any questions coming in, I will answer them. I see some questions on Instagram. I will, after we discuss the meat of my talk, so to speak, I will go to the questions. And for some reason, I am not seeing comments or questions on Instagram, on Facebook. So we'll look at that. Okay. So let me go back to eat mostly vegetables, right? So what does that mean? That means that mostly what we eat should be something that doesn't have a label, right? It's not processed. It's not a non-food junk, as my teacher and friend and mentor Aviva Ram calls it, non-food junk. Eating things that you're eating that won't give your body any energy or nutrition. No bang for your buck, no value for what you're ingesting. So what would that be? That would be things like candy and cake and cookies, lots of white floury stuff, or even some disguised as healthy snacks like granola bars and stuff like that. Protein bars and protein shakes may not have a lot of information in them, may or may not. Just to be a label reader and eat mostly things that don't have a label. A word about fruits. Fruits are fantastic. Berries especially. Berries are very nutritious. They have lots of water content. They have lots of vitamin C and antioxidants. Berries, fruits themselves give you the fiber. So stay away from juices, because a lot of times juices have a lot of sugar, and that's not going to help you with the getting the nutrition without getting the empty calories that you don't want. So I said before, we don't want to worry too much about calories. We don't want to count calories, but also we don't want to have empty calories that we're filling up on and not getting any value from. I just want to see something here. Give me 1 second. I'm having a little tech stuff go on. Okay, I think it's here. Oh, sorry about that. While I'm on here, I just want to say a shout out to my husband Russ, who's helping me with the tech part of it. Of course, to do this, you have to be in another room. So hi, Russ, and thank you for everything you do to help us. Okay, so when we're talking about snacks, right? So talking about fruits is a great time to think about snacks, and think about snacks that are easy to grab. So if you have fruit cut up ready for you, apples with a little bit of peanut butter on it is a great snack. Grabbing some nuts or seeds, almonds are great for balancing blood sugar. So things like that, okay? And then another thing that's important as far as real food is fermented food. Food like sauerkraut, cabbage, fermented cabbage, kimchi, non-dairy yogurt. We'll talk about dairy in a minute. These are all good ways to get healthy gut bacteria, to balance the microbiome, to balance your gut and keep things moving and keep things healthy. So not to get too icky here, but we have to talk about what we put out is a sign of how, that we're getting the right nutrients and that our bodies are digesting well and absorbing the nutrients from our food. And also, when we're breastfeeding, we're very obsessed with our baby's poops, right? And a sign that baby's getting everything he or she needs is that they're having good bowel movements. And a sign that something may be off could be baby's bowel movements that are either difficult to pass, coming too often, not coming often enough, sometimes mucousy stool, or in the extreme, blood in the stool. So we want to keep our bowels moving to show us, just the way we look at baby's output, we want to know that our output is good by the what we're putting out. So how do we get good bowel movements? We keep our gut healthy by fermented foods. So serving of sauerkraut once a day, every couple of days is really a good way to do that. Also, making sure you get that fiber we were talking about. So a great way to get good fiber is flaxseed. Flaxseed is so healthy. So if you're making a smoothie, throw a tablespoon of flaxseed in that smoothie, sprinkle it on salads, use it in an omelet, cook it with your vegetables. Flax is great. Okay. Another, a hot topic, and we started talking about baby's stools and how we know that something's not right with baby by their stool. We look at what mom could be eating that's interfering with baby's digestion or baby is reacting to. And the number one item that I find, the number one food group that I find in my experience and in the experience of many healthcare providers who are taking care of moms and babies, find that dairy is a culprit. So dairy meaning cow dairy, cow's milk, cow yogurt, cheese. Cheese is usually the hardest one, the most challenging one, because we all love cheese. But dairy is very inflammatory to most of us. About 50% of Americans have inflammatory reaction to dairy, meaning that either their skin or their stomachs or their systems get upset when they eat dairy. Dairy causes inflammation, which causes weight gain, which can lead to other problems. Can cause constipation. Inflammation is the root of most of our illness, right? So if you are going to include dairy, be sure it's organic and be sure it's grass-fed when possible. Okay, and we'll get more into sources of foods in a minute. Okay, so number 3, right? So we did number 1. Number 2, now number 3 is avoiding toxins in food and other places. So we want to, at this stage of our life, in this part of the life cycle, you want to keep your body as free of toxins as humanly possible. It's not easy. We're exposed to toxins every day, right? So we're exposed to pesticides and herbicides and plastics and all kinds of heavy metals and just PCBs and fireproofing agents and all kinds of chemicals in our world. And we can avoid it in food if we eat organic. Excuse me a minute. So one of the things that I hear is that it's hard to eat organic because of the cost. So a great way, or maybe even availability, depending on where you are. So there's a great resource called Environmental Working Group, and we're going to post that in the link. And EWG gives you the best sources for which foods are most important to eat organic and which ones, if you ate them with not organic, it's not as important. So the most heavily pesticided foods. So they have lists called the Clean 15 and Dirty Dozen, and you can download that. And they have an app. It's really great. And they can also give you hints on other products. So, what skincare products are important, which skincare products have the most harmful chemicals in them. There's a whole sunscreen section now, which is great because it's summertime where we live, and we want to think about what are we putting on our skin, not just what are we putting in our body, right? And then the other way that you want to think about how we are avoiding chemicals is what are we cooking in, what are we storing our food in, what are we handling. So what happens when we are exposed to plastic and other chemicals is in our bodies, they act as endocrine disruptors. They act as hormones in our bodies, and sometimes they take the place of our own hormones, including our thyroid hormones and our female hormones, our male hormones if you're a boy. And they're called endocrine disruptors, and they can cause inflammation, again, like we talked about before. And they can also cause obesity. They can cause diabetes. And, of course, chemicals can cause cancer in the ultimate inflammatory process. So we want to avoid what we can. Not saying all this to make you nervous or to think, you got to live in a bubble, but we want to be as careful as we can and think about where in our lives we can avoid it when we can. So when you're cooking or storing, try and use glass containers, stainless steel, especially water bottles. You don't want to use plastic water bottles. You want to use glass or stainless. Never, ever, ever microwave in plastic. I would, avoiding microwaving food is a good idea, but if you must use the microwave, just make sure you're not using plastic. Please don't ever heat up breast milk or infant formula in the microwave in any container. It can be really dangerous. Other thing that you want to think about is avoiding nonstick pans. So nonstick Teflon kind of pans give off a chemical when they're heated up, so you don't want to do that. And water. So water is really important, and avoiding the toxins in water is difficult depending on where you live. I totally recommend avoiding plastic water bottles. Not only is it not great for our environment or our health because of the plastics we're introducing, but we don't know where that water's been. We don't know the source of the water. We don't know what it's gone through before it's gotten to us. So try and use water if you can from the tap, depending on where you live, and get a filter for your house. There's lots of filters on the market. We're going to post in the comments the filter that I use in my home and in my office. It's called Pure 2O. It's a great whole house filter, and to me it's been life-changing. So I totally recommend. It doesn't have to be that filter, any filter, but if you're looking for a filter for your house, Pure 2O is great. And they're in the tri-state area on the East Coast. But if you're not in this area and you're interested, they're very helpful. You can call them up, and if they can't service you, I'm sure they'll recommend someone who can. Okay, so what are the things to avoid in food if you're breastfeeding? Or, if you're pregnant too, this applies. So we want to avoid raw things that may have contamination. So that would mean sushi, raw fish, raw meat, unpasteurized dairy. We also want to avoid high mercury fish. So, be really careful of the fish sources that you get, and vary this fish that you eat. Don't always eat the same kind of fish 2 or 3 times a week. Vary the fish that you have so you're not getting exposed to the same kinds of levels of mercury. Okay. An interesting thing that I learned not too long ago was that rice in large quantities can be dangerous for us because it accumulates in the body, because what accumulates in the body from rice is arsenic. So rice in itself can bind with the arsenic and hold on to it. And then when we eat it, our bodies can hold on to it. So that doesn't mean we shouldn't eat rice at all, but we be very aware and conscious of having a lot of healthy granola bars or snacks that are made with rice flour, because there's a lot of rice flour used as fillers for things. So you want to just be careful of that. Don't eat a lot of rice. And if you are eating rice at home, soak it or rinse it before you eat it to get all the stuff off of it before you cook it. You want to avoid lots of course, refined sugar, refined white flour, artificial colors, artificial preservatives, GMOs, and that non-food junk that we talked about before. And back to water. I've heard lots of myths about water. One of the things I've heard about water is that the more you drink, the better it is and the more milk you make. And that's not true. It's not proven to be true at all. So we want to drink to thirst, or about half of your body weight in water. So if you weigh 140 pounds, you should be drinking about 70 ounces of water per day. So that's what you want to keep in mind. Okay. So the fourth and final guideline that I'd like to share with you is to be prepared. So I am, for those of you who don't know, I helped raise 7 kids, and I've always worked. Most of that time I was going to school. I was crazy busy. I've had lots of stuff going on. And I've learned the hard way that preparation is key to a healthy lifestyle. If you are hungry, or if I'm hungry, I know, there is no way I'm going to make healthy food choices if I haven't decided ahead of time what it is I was going to eat. So that means is prepare. Take a day. on the weekend or whenever you have time where you can, a couple of hours, make a list of what you're going to shop for. Go shopping, planning your meals for the week, purchasing what you're going to cook for the week. Perhaps batch cook while you're, on the weekend. So if you're going to make, say, a soup, make enough for 2 or 3 meals and freeze the rest. A sauce, the same thing. Things like, if I make a salad, I make a huge salad. This way I have enough. I don't put the dressing on, I save it, and then I have enough salad for either the next day or like if it's lunch, have it for next to dinner. So always cook. If I'm cooking up like chicken breasts, I'll barbecue a bunch of chicken breasts, like 3 times the amount that I need for that meal, and put aside the others so that you have them left over. Those are great ways to plan. Preparing snacks could be chopping vegetables ahead of time, having carrot sticks to grab and eat, having nuts, as I said, nuts and seeds ready. And my favorite snack to grab, and no guilt about it, is dark chocolate. Low sugar dark chocolate, 70% or greater, has lots of magnesium in it. And one of the reasons that we crave dark chocolate, is because many of us are low on magnesium. So have that dark chocolate ready in the house, a good quality organic dark chocolate, and have a square or 2 in the afternoon for a pick-me-up if you need that. So I mentioned the magnesium. One of the questions that I get often, and women always wonder, we take prenatal vitamins while we're pregnant, and then, we don't get back to the doctor for 6 weeks, and the only information we get really is, just keep taking your prenatals. So if you have any questions about what vitamins and minerals and supplements are necessary or important for you while you're breastfeeding, what helps with milk as far as supplements, I have an account called FullScript. It's an online dispensary, and if you'd like to make an account there, I can give you a discount on great vitamins, and if you let me know that you sign up, then I can send you a personal recommendation based on the stage of life that you're in. So if we're going to post that in the link, and if you want to make an account, just send me a message either through here or through email and say that you made an account, and tell me what stage you're in. I'm a breastfeeding mom, I'm whatever, how old your baby is, and I'll send you a personal recommendation for vitamins. And it's great products. It's the products I use myself or recommend to my patients, and it's really good prices. Okay, so those were the 4 things, right? We learned that we're going to go for goal is health, not weight loss. We're going to eat real food, mostly plants. Oh, you know what I didn't say? Skipped right over this one. How many people think that they shouldn't eat broccoli while they're breastfeeding, right? That's such an old wives' tale. Broccoli usually does not bother babies. Usually, if babies are bothered by broccoli, it's something else that you're eating with the broccoli. Maybe you put cheese on it. So it's trial and error. Yes, some babies will be bothered by certain foods, but definitely don't be afraid of vegetables. Eat plenty of vegetables. It's the protein in the food that bothers babies' bellies, not the vegetables. So the milk protein is the highest culprit. When you're taking out milk protein, don't replace it with soy, because soy is the second highest. Sometimes gluten, right? Sometimes eggs, but rarely. I don't see eggs very popular as a food intolerance. Okay, so I'm just going to take a quick look at the questions and see if any questions came up. Oh, we got so many people watching us on Instagram. Hi, everybody. Okay. And nobody's posting me questions. Great. Okay. And let's see if I see the comments here. Oh, hi, Marietta. Marietta says hi. Liz says hi. Oh, we got somebody from Houston. Hi, Jessica. And Marietta, last time we did this, we did it together. I'm missing you today, Marietta. Hope you're well. And Melanie and Alexis, Nicole. I love it. Nicole is listening while eating a banana and nursing my 1-month-old. It's beautiful. Okay. And Ashley. Okay, Liz is asking about herbs to replace CBD oil while nursing. So we had a question that came up on the Facebook group about CBD oil in breastfeeding. That's a little bit beyond this chat here today, but what I will say just quickly is I don't feel that there's enough research on CBD oil to know if it's safe in breastfeeding, and I don't know if it's safe at all, but certainly not in breastfeeding or pregnancy. My favorite herb for anxiety, and it's safe in breastfeeding, is called motherwort. So if anybody wants information on that or wants a link, I can send you a link for the motherwort. It's very safe to use. There's no side effects. It actually helps with milk letdown, and it's a very subtle anti-anxiety agent, and it's totally natural. You don't feel any effects from it. You don't get tired. It just sort of takes the edge off, and it's a great herb. Motherwort is one of my favorite herbs in the whole world, and I use it almost daily. Okay, and oh wow, Elizabeth is joining us from Hawaii, and it's 7 a.m. there. Thanks, Elizabeth. This is great. Okay, let me just take a look. Okay, so I mentioned before the lactation nutrition reset. So I am so excited about this. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about what I've been doing. I've been running this program that some of you may have heard of, some of you may have even been a part of, called a 5-day detox that I've been running seasonally, and women have been having amazing results. So then I've been getting all these questions from women like you who want to know what to eat and how to safely lose weight, that postpartum weight while breastfeeding. Because what happens when we're breastfeeding? We're so hungry, right? And then it's not easy to pick the right foods, and you don't know what that is, and you grab something quick, and then you don't feel good, and then sometimes we don't eat at all because we have no time. The whole postpartum period can be kind of overwhelming, and the first thing to go is mom's self-care. So we forget about taking care of ourselves, and we take care of everybody else. That's not good. It's not good for you, and it's not good for the people you're trying to take care of. Right? So I took my 5-day detox program, and I put together a reset program that works for lactation, for breastfeeding, and it's totally safe, and it's a little bit more calories than the detox is, and I tweak things around, and I just made it's a wonderful program. So what it is 5 days of a guided elimination diet. So the way I practice, I feel like if we just took out foods here and there to try and figure out what works for us or for our baby and had no rhyme or reason about it, you won't get any information. So when we do an elimination diet, it's a way of getting information about what's the best food for you. So, but it sounds scary, and a lot of people get very nervous when I say we have to do an elimination diet. So when I started doing these guided elimination diets, the women in my practice really loved it. So I'm excited, and I know that the breastfeeding women, any of you who join us, you're going to love it too. So 5 days, anybody can do anything for 5 days, right? 5 days is quick and easy. You blink and it's over. And it's not a starvation diet by any means. There's no calorie restriction. It's 5 days of healthy recipes. So you'll get a recipe book. You'll get shopping lists to go along with those recipes. So that includes, everything you'll need to make everything will be in a list, and it's all figured out for you. There's a handbook. There's like how to, like, there's bonuses, like what to do if you're going out to eat. And with the reset, we have a closed Facebook group, and we have so much fun in the Facebook group. We support each other. You get access to my private, I have a program that we can do private HIPAA compliant chatting. So we can chat there, we can chat on Facebook, and you get emails every day. And it's 5 days of the actual elimination diet, but we start, so it's this one is going to be July 22nd through July 26th, but that's Monday through Friday. But we start on Thursday with preparation. So the Thursday night before, which is the 18th, we'll have a Facebook Live in the group, recorded if you can't make it. And on that during that Facebook Live, we talk about everything that you need to do to get ready for Monday. So it's like you got 4 days to prepare. Like, remember, one of the 4 guidelines is prepare. This is where we're putting it into action. So 4 days of preparing how to eat healthy food and how to shop for it and how to psych yourself up. And we talk about relaxation techniques and different things to do to get through the week together. I've had women, this is not a weight loss program, but if you eat well, you'll lose weight, right? So I've had women lose 6 pounds in 5 days. I've had women who've had skin problems, skin cleared up by day 3. They felt completely better. Energy increased. So lots of great results from this program. So I genuinely recommend it. Okay, so that, and let me just look so I'm not forgetting any of the details, because I think I wanted to tell you more details. Okay. Oh, I know what I want to tell you. So we have a couple of exciting things about it, and you have a chance today. So there's this other service that I offer. It's a 3-day food journal. You do a 3-day food journal, and then we get together and discuss it. So if you sign up for the reset today, before midnight tonight, I hate being a salesman, but I have to do it this way because I can't do this for everybody. So those girls who sign up today will get the 3-day food journal, and we'll hop on a phone call after you do the 3-day food journal, and a 15-minute free phone call where I'll review with you your food that you ate for those 3 days, and I'll give you hints of what was good, what wasn't, what you needed to add, and whatever. And that's really interesting. I didn't mention this before. A lot of people who are having trouble losing weight think they're eating too much, and especially nursing moms, sometimes you're not eating enough, right? And you're cutting out the good stuff like carbs, right? And we need carbs to make milk. So we need carbs, we need lots of healthy fats like olive oil and avocado oil, and good quality meat products with good fats, so grass-fed, organic only, eggs. We need lots and lots of protein, and we do need calories to make milk. And when you're nursing, you're hungrier because you're using about 500 to 800 more calories a day than if you were just resting, right? Just to make milk. So it's a good opportunity to lose weight and lose that baby weight safely if you're eating the right foods and not starving yourself, because you want to be eating foods that are going to give your body the nutrition that you need for the energy. Once you get that energy, then the anxiety goes away, the fatigue goes away, right? So, okay, so that's the bonus if you join today. The other thing is that if you join before, let me just check the date because I'm so bad with numbers. If you join before the 15th, so before July 15th, which is next Monday, there's a coupon code, early bird, and you save $80. So the program is not expensive to begin with. It's $129 for all included, and it's $30 cheaper if you join by the 15th, I'm sorry. And the other thing to know is if you've ever done one of my detoxes or resets, if you ever want to repeat, then each one you want to do again is 50% off automatically. So I've had a couple of people that have done it more than once and love it. So it's like you need a little refresher and you get back together again. So that's the other thing for you to know about the program, is that if you sign up, it's not just about, you become part of my community and you get notified about when the next one is, and then you get that for half price. Okay, so anybody have any questions about the reset? Anybody want to ask me anything? I'm going to scroll through again. Let me see. It's great to see everybody on Instagram. Okay, here's a question. What are your thoughts on probiotics for a 5-month-old with infrequent stools? So from the American Academy of Pediatrics recommends probiotics for any babies that are born by C-section or whose moms have had antibiotics, or if they had antibiotics. So that's the absolute recommendation. I would ask your pediatrician, but I would be more concerned about why isn't the baby having frequent stools. So is it just a microbiome issue? Is it just a probiotic issue? Or is it a food intolerance? If there's dairy in the diet, I would take dairy out and see if that helps, because dairy is often causes constipation. So it could cause diarrhea, but it often causes constipation. So I hope that helps, Lee. From Turkey. Wow, people are joining us from all over the world. Can someone who isn't breastfeeding do this detox? Absolutely, yes. This is not, let's put it this way. The marketing is to breastfeeding moms for this one. That's just the marketing. The actual recipes, I'm going to add some extra recipes because it's for, for moms who are breastfeeding, and making sure that there's extra support there. And the supplements that I recommend are a little tweaked for breastfeeding moms. But in general, no, this is for everybody. And it would be great, Kristalina, if you and your sister join. That would be wonderful. I'd be so happy to have you. We have a lot of fun in the group too. We post recipes that we've made. And you don't, that's the other thing. You don't have to eat the food that's in the recipes. And I talk about that when we do the intro. If something you don't like, you can always go, there's always other ways to do it. And I teach you about how to do that. Oh, yes. Someone listening from Hawaii, and hope this is on later. Yes, this will be on Instagram for 24 hours, and it'll be on Facebook for forever. So if you're on Instagram and you don't follow me on Facebook, or Facebook and don't follow me on Instagram, either way, the best way to be sure that you will always get my information and information about my events is to join my email list. And I believe Russ is posting that on Facebook, but for those of you on Instagram, if you go to my website or you go into my bio on Instagram, all the links are there. So if you join my email list, then you'll always get notified, because Facebook, Instagram, these algorithms are always changing, and I don't want to lose anybody. So if you join my list, I can always get in touch with you. And no spam, I just send you about what's going on. Okay. So there's a question about a tongue tie, which I'm not really going to answer now because that's not really relevant. And that's a whole nother subject. Infant is 5 days short of 6 months, nursing half the time, and solid foods. What foods can I ingest to make milk richer and fattier? So in general, you don't change your milk too much, but you want to make sure that you're eating healthy fats. Like I said, avocado, olive oil, and you're having lots of balanced foods, and that you're feeling well. Okay. Lee says dairy-free for a little over a month, and things are much better, still having infrequent stools. Oh, thank you, Lee. So what I would say to Lee also is, if a baby's having infrequent stools, have an evaluation with a lactation consultant, an IBCLC, just to be sure that there's enough milk transfer there. There may be something else going on. I'm not assuming that, I'm not saying maybe is or isn't, but sometimes pediatricians or doctors who aren't looking too closely at how much baby's getting per day, and it could be related to that. Also, another thing that helps babies with stooling is chiropractic. So if you have a good pediatric chiropractor in your area, I've seen that work wonders for babies. Chiropractic, craniosacral therapy too, if you know anybody in your area. If not, and you really have trouble finding somebody, send me a private message and I'll find someone in your area because we've got a great network. Okay, let me see over here. Oh, hi, Christina. Hi, Heather. Okay, Ashley. Okay, just want to make sure there's no questions I missed. Beautiful. We had so many people from so many different places join us today. Thank you so much for joining. I believe I'll be able to add comments. If any other questions come in, I'll answer on Instagram and definitely on Facebook. So this will be here. So if you're not listening live and you're watching it after and you have any questions, post it and you could tag me, and this way I'll be sure to see it and come back and answer your questions. But I believe that we covered all the topics. And again, thank you for coming. I know it's the middle of the summer afternoon, and I really appreciate everybody coming and listening to me today, and just being a part of the community, the tribe that we've been building through Tongue Tie Experts. It's been wonderful to know that we're reaching so many women in so many places and helping moms and babies. And there's a lot of providers that follow this group too, not just moms and babies. So we're becoming a network, and it just makes me feel good to know that my mission, which is to help all moms and babies, all families reach their breastfeeding goals, that mission is being supported by all of you. So thank you so much. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and hope to see you at the reset. Message me if you have any questions, okay? Thank you.